This is the sales accelerator after we concluded the marketing accelerator in the back part of last year. It's the very first session, and it makes me really happy to see all of your wonderful faces. I figured it would be best to start with a bit of an overview of what we're going to expect. So if you didn't do the marketing accelerator, that's absolutely no problem at all. They're not entirely joined up, although it would have, there would have been benefit to doing that marketing accelerator. It's an 8-week program designed to help you fine tune your sales process and ultimately help you to close more business over the next year. Each alternating week, we're going to cover a specific topic, which in my opinion is essential to helping you grow your business. Now, we've designed it as a mix of interactive workshops, and then we've built a bunch of really practical tools to help you in that journey. And then there's a mix of peer group support as well. You are going to notice that I'm on the wrong slide. I'm on the wrong slide for some reason. Give me a second. We're gonna go with it. I think you're going to notice that every other week, on the odd weeks, that there are a week of kind of pausing and reflection and a cheeky little challenge or two. So for the vast majority of you on this call, this is an added value, free of charge addition to Mastermind9. But I want you to not think of it as a free of charge addition to Mastermind9 if you are really focused on growing your sales over the next 8 weeks. Because whenever I look at stuff that I'm not necessarily paying for, I don't value it as much, and therefore I don't sometimes commit as much to it. And I'm here to tell you that if you commit to this program over the next 8 weeks, I'm absolutely confident that you will make more sales in 2025 than if you didn't. So I think it's really important for you to remain present and contribute to the discussions positively, and then collaborate meaningfully with your peers as you go. With all that said, if you can't make a session, you can't make a session. It's one of those. You will find that we're going to send out the recordings and all of the materials the next day for you to be able to catch up. The assignments I set for you will need to be completed if you are going to get the most out of the sessions. Now, what I would say is there are many ways to approach sales, and you will almost certainly have your own ideas about what works best for you. You might have different ideas or terminologies or even tools that you're currently using, and that's absolutely fine. I've spent years on our internal sales processes and what works for us, and I'm just here to share the tips and tactics that have worked for me over the last 20 years in helping us go from me on my own 4 years ago to us with 11 in the business. That isn't meant to prove anything to you. It's about making or helping you to take actions that I genuinely believe will make a difference to you and your business. So there are going to be some assignments. You'll have exercises to complete that will help you solidify what you've learned. And those assignments are going to take between 45 minutes and 2 hours every other week. So it's not going to be horrendous, and hopefully it's going to be manageable for all of you to keep up. Throughout the program, you'll have access to a range of different resources, including templates, worksheets, and a dedicated WhatsApp group where you can ask questions, share insights, and get feedback from your peers and mentors. And ultimately, from an outcomes perspective, it is my belief that by the end of the 8 weeks, you will have a stronger mindset around sales. You'll have a really clear strategy for growth from a sales perspective, and I'm going to give you tried and tested processes that you can follow, which should give you the confidence that you need to grow your business over the next 12 months. So that's what I'm hoping that this 8-week accelerator is going to give you. Um, I'm not going to go into huge detail about this one, but this is a bit of an overview of what we're going to cover over the next few weeks. So I believe that there are some things that are mission critical aspects for sales, and their mindset, sales processes, prospecting, and then I'm lumping the back end of the sales process, pain, presentation, proposals, and follow-ups into a oneer at the end. Last time we did the marketing accelerator, we set it up so that there was stuff going on every week. And I think what that did for some people was make it really difficult to keep up. So we've deliberately spaced it out a little bit more this time so that there should be no excuses for people not being able to keep up with the flow of the work that we've got to do. So, in terms of what I've got lined up for you today, we're going to focus on mindset. For me, the key idea that I want to kind of drill into your head is that sales is more about helping than selling. That's something I got from the Go Giver, and it profoundly changed my mindset around selling. So over the course of this afternoon, I'm going to break down why mindset is crucial and how it might be the thing that's tripping some of you up in your sales efforts. We're going to explore how to shift your mindset from selling towards helping and identifying some typical mindset hurdles. And then lastly, we're going to discuss some great tools that I think are going to be able to really help you foster a positive mindset. Now, before we dive into scripts, processes, techniques, we need to start getting our heads into the right space. So I'd love to take a little temperature check on the room. Could you please put in the chat for me what words come to your mind when you think about sales or selling? Sarah May, will you just read some of those out for me when they pop up?
The first one that's come in from Laura is cringe. We've got Swiss Tony. Who's Swiss Tony? What have I missed? Natalie is icky. Natasha is target. Nikki Kinton is ick. Oh my goodness, too many, too many. Don't want to seem desperate, scary, avoid. Hoover salesman. Love that. The old school door-to-door ones. Thirsty. Interesting. Shame. Oh, shame. Generating income. Service.
There we go. Okay, well, lots of people, and I'm not surprised by any of those words, to be honest. Lots of people get caught up in their own heads, thinking that sales or making sales is about being pushy or salesy, but it's not. Like, being in sales is about helping people to solve problems and building genuine relationships with people. As Zig Ziglar famously said, you can have anything in your life that you want if you'll just help enough people get what they want. And you know that key word there is help. So I'm really sure that we're going to be able to help you cultivate your mindset together over the next 8 weeks to make it more about helping more people rather than trying to sell stuff to people. So why does it matter? Mindset, why does it matter? So it's the foundation of everything, to be honest, in sales. Without the right mindset, even the best techniques will not work. Brian Tracy highlights it in his book, The Psychology of Selling, that the top salespeople consistently approach their work with positivity and a belief in their ability to help others. Confidence and clarity are really key. Our confidence is contagious. It reassures our prospects that we're there to help and that they can trust us. I guess something to think about would be, think about the time when you've been in that buying situation. Would you prefer to buy from someone who hesitates and seems unsure about what it is they're doing, or from someone who speaks with certainty and enthusiasm. I would bet in 100% of the cases that that person that speaks with enthusiasm is the one that you'd ultimately give your money to. Confidence will give your words weight, and it creates a sense of security for your clients. And then clarity is just as important. If you're clear on your value, and we should all be clear on our value, and you're confident in your ability to deliver for your customers, your prospects, they will feel it. If you're unsure or you're hesitant, that will ultimately come across too. You know, I think the thing to remember with mindset is people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And ultimately, mindset is really everything when it comes to sales. So let's be honest with ourselves for a little moment. Selling can feel uncomfortable, especially if you've never had any formal training. It's really easy to get caught up in self-doubt, asking, what if they say no, or what if I'm not good enough? But here's the truth, and I know that some of you will not like it, but rejection is part of the process, guys. There's a sales legend called Tom Hopkins who teaches, there's Tom Hopkins, there we go, this guy, who teaches that every no is simply a step closer to a yes. And the more conversations that you have, the more opportunities that you will create. One of my early sales mentors used to encourage me to thank every single person that said no to me. And he encouraged me to say, thank you for the £200 as one of my parting comments. And that would often freak people out and flip their mind a little bit. And often they would come back and say, what do you mean? It would get me speaking to them for a little bit longer. And my stock response was, every time someone says no to me, it takes me closer to my next yes. Now, my conversion rate back in the day was 1 in 10. And each one of those sales was worth about 2K. So every single sale that I made, or every single no that I got me about 200 quid closer to the next £2,000. So it worked for me. And I wonder whether that sort of slight reframe could work for some of you. Now, a big roadblock for many small business owners, human beings, is imposter syndrome. That nagging feeling that you're not qualified to do what you're saying you can, or your value isn't quite enough or as much as your competitors. But here's the reality, right? You're not forcing anything onto anyone. You're just offering a solution to a real problem. People need what you have to offer. And if you believe in your product or service, it's your responsibility to show up with confidence. We've also got the fear of being pushy. And I think, this one came, I think Sarah Denham kind of pushed this point in the webinar, right? No one wants to feel like they're pressuring others. But if you flip it round, what if not selling was actually doing them a disservice? There are going to be tons of people out there who have got a pain point that you and your business can solve. If your potential client walks away still struggling with the problem that you could have solved, you've done them a disservice. I was once told that the best things happen just beyond our comfort zone. Growth, success, and impact don't come from playing it safe. They come from pushing through that discomfort and reframing fear as an opportunity and taking action one step at a time. So what if instead of fearing the word no, you saw it as progress? What if instead of feeling like an imposter, you recognized yourself as the expert that your clients need? What if instead of hesitating, you stepped through with confidence? What would happen to your business over the next 12 months? We'll see. So some of you might relate to some of these. Some of these already came up in the words that you were talking about. I can guarantee you that the biggest thing stopping most business owners from making more sales is not the economy, it's not the competition, it's not their pricing, it's their mindset. I hear this often. I don't want to be too pushy. What if they say no? I hate selling. They can't afford it. Why would they buy from me? I need to be cheaper to get the sale. Here's what I want. If that relates to any of you, if any of those relate to you, here's what I want you to do when those thoughts creep in. I want you to start reframing your thoughts. Instead of saying, I don't want to be pushy, tell yourself, I'm offering something valuable that can genuinely help this person over and over again. Instead of saying, what if they say no? Say, a no now doesn't mean a no forever. Every conversation is a step forward. Katie Aldridge, I said that whenever you said no to me over 7 years, lots and lots and lots and lots. Sue Copeland, exactly the same thing. I promise you this stuff works. Instead of saying, I hate selling, reframe it that selling is just helping the right people to find the right solution. Instead of saying they can't afford it, say it's not my job to assume their budget. It's my job to show them the value. Why would they buy from me? I bring something unique to the table that no one else can. You see, all of these reframing things, these affirmations that we can tell ourselves are really, really useful in changing you and helping you change the way that you think. I need to be cheaper to get the sale. People pay for quality, expertise, and confidence, not just price. They'll think I'm desperate. I'm showing up because I really, truly believe in what I offer and I know I can help. Hopefully, somewhere in there, one of those blockers resonated with you. And hopefully, one of those reframes also resonated. So, what we're going to tackle is the mindset blocks head on. I would love for you to write down a block that you have about sales. Now, it could be one of the things that I've just talked about, or it could be something completely different. For example, I don't want to be pushy, or what if they say no? Might be a blocker. What I want you to do next is to come up with a reframe for that thought into something positive. So, for example, as we've just seen, I don't want to be pushy becomes I'm offering something valuable that can genuinely help. You're taking the negative thought that you have about that, about sales, and you're turning it into a more positive statement that you can hang your hat on. What if they say no? Becomes a no now doesn't mean no forever. Every conversation I have is a step forward. Sales is a dance, guys, and sometimes you've got to dance for a long time before you win. Reframing is a really powerful tool to shift your mindset and approach sales with much more positivity. So, your first piece of homework for the sales accelerator is to really think about your mindset blockers around sales and then work hard on a reframe for them. And they're going to become part of some affirmations that we're going to talk about in a bit. So, why is all of that stuff important? Because we have to be careful what you tell your reticular activating system. I don't know whether any of you ever decided to buy a new car, let's say a blue Mazda CX-5. Last year I did. And then suddenly I started to see blue CX-5s everywhere. It's not that the world suddenly ordered more Mazdas. It was my brain at work, specifically my reticular activating system, or RAS. And the RAS is a tiny bundle of nerves in your brainstem, which has got a massive job to do. It filters information, all of it: sight, sound, smell, taste, lots of it, everything goes through the reticular activating system. Right now, at this moment, your brain has been bombarded with millions of bits of information. But what your reticular activating system decides what is important, listening to me, and what to ignore, the email that you've been tempted by, and what does your RAS prioritize? Well, it will tell it, it will focus on whatever it is you tell it to focus on. Or more importantly, it will focus on what it thinks you want it to focus on. So when you're thinking about buying that blue Mazda, your reticular activating system marks the blue Mazda as important. So instead of filtering them out, which it did before you were thinking about buying a blue Mazda, it starts spotting them everywhere. And that's why it feels like they multiplied overnight. But here's where it gets interesting from a sales perspective. You can actually trick your RAS. It doesn't know the difference between something that's real and something you repeatedly tell it it's real. And that is an absolute fact. Look it up. And that's where visualization and affirmations come in. If you keep telling yourself, I'm bad at sales, or sales is yuck, or I don't want to be pushy, your RAS will filter the world to prove that you're right. You'll notice every single rejection and overlook all of the wins that you're making. But if you start saying, I attract the right clients into my life, or I find making sales easy, your reticular activating system will start to look for proof of that instead. The same goes for visualization. If you repeatedly visualize yourself confidently closing deals, stepping into big stages, growing your business, your reticular activating system will start to believe that that is the reality. So it directs your thoughts and actions to make it happen. So here's the takeaway. Your RAS is always working. The question is, are you using it to reinforce your doubts or training it to spot the opportunities, the confidence and success that you want to see? It's going to work whichever way you want it to. So after we've assessed what our mindset blocks are and we understand the reticular activating system, there are some really handy tools that we can use to help you shut the door on the mindset blocks that you once had and really start to switch your mindset on sales. Now, I know that some of you are going to go, these tools are a bit woo-woo, but I promise you, they are scientifically proven time after time after time to work if you let them. So they're affirmations, visualizations, building your confidence. So specifically doing things that are known to boost your confidence, and then flexing the discipline and consistency muscle that you guys hear me talk about relatively often. Some of you will have heard the expression, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Now, that's one of Henry Ford's most famous quotes. And Ford, like so many business greats, was a huge fan of affirmations. Um, Affirmations are a tried and tested way of mentally reprogramming yourself. Every time you say, I'm great at selling, or people love working with me, you are rewriting your brain to believe it. And when you believe it, you act differently. You show up more confidently, you communicate better, you ask better questions, you are more assertive, and you will make sales easier for yourself. Muhammad Ali was brilliant at this. he said that he was the greatest even before he knew he was. That was like a direct quote from him. He was saying, "I am the greatest," a long time before he was the champion of the world. Um, and he knew something that lots of people don't, and that is that your brain listens to what you tell it to do. And when you repeat it enough times, it will become your reality. So I would love for you to imagine before your next sales call and every sales call for the next 8 weeks, you're telling yourself you're a competent and confident business person, that you know that you can help this person solve their problem, that you help people by selling to them, that the right clients are going to be really excited to work with you, and that every no that you get takes you closer to the next yes. If you can just do that, if you tell yourself 10 times before every sales call, you will go into each and every one of those sales calls with a different mindset, a different mentality, and you will get a different result. Your brain will start believing what you're telling it, and you will shift from a fear to purpose, from worrying about being pushy to focusing on helping people. You'll show that you care deeply about the problem and that you can help them solve it. And that's where great sales happen. So I guess the thing that you need to ask yourself isn't, do affirmations work? It's, what are you telling yourself about sales every single day? Because your words will create your world. So your next piece of homework, lovely people, is to create between 3 and 10 affirmations and commit to reading them out loud to yourself a minimum of 10 times each and every day for the next 8 weeks. It's not for everyone, but if you want to make an improvement in your sales, I promise you this will help you do it. Okay, visualization. Has anyone read The Secret by Rhonda Byrne? A couple of people. It's a magnificent book if you believe in all this woo-woo shit like me. Kelly, I'm surprised you haven't read it. Rhonda says your thoughts become your things. Top performers, whether it's athletes or entrepreneurs or sales pros, they don't leave it to chance. They see it before it happens. And the science absolutely backs it up. Your reticular activating system, as I've said, filters the world based on what you decide to focus on. When you repeatedly visualize success, your brain will start noticing opportunities, ideas, and confidence boosters that will make it real. The Rugby Six Nations has just started, and some of you will be rugby fans. And if you are an England rugby fan, you'll know that one of the best kickers that ever came out of England is a guy called Owen Farrell. And before him, Johnny Wilkinson, right? The same thing applies to them. When you watch Johnny Wilkinson or Owen Farrell step up to take a conversion, what you're watching is them visualizing a minimum of 3 times exactly where they're going to kick the ball, exactly the trajectory they're going to. Wilkinson, sorry.
Creating unforgettable trade show experiences. Hello, my name is Ellen Stokes, and I'm the owner.
Hello, Ellen.
Oh my word, sorry.
So if you think about those guys, they're visualizing before they ever hit the ball. And it doesn't just apply to the world of sport, right? Jim Carrey is a really, really good example of how visualization can work. Oprah Winfrey has spoken up about how she used to visualization to build her career. So before she ever had her own show, she would imagine herself interviewing incredible people, incredible guests, inspiring her audiences. And before she was ever at the top of the field, she mentally rehearsed what she was going to do over and over again until it became a reality. So, what I would love for you to do is to close your eyes. Let's try it. I want you to close your eyes and picture your next sales conversation. I want you to picture yourself as calm and confident and in control. The prospect is there and they're engaged and they're nodding and they're asking really, really great questions. And then you present your offer and they smile and they say, that sounds absolutely perfect. I want you to think about that feeling that you get in your body, the energy that comes off of the back of that great conversation when you have helped someone solve that problem. Now, you can open your eyes up. That was a very weak example of what it can be. But what I'd like you to do is take this a little bit more seriously. And I would like you to think about a visualization for yourself about your success in 8 weeks' time. I want you to visualize yourself turning up as a more confident version of yourself and making sales to people that are maybe £1,000 more than you've ever charged before, Kelly, for example, or it's a PLC client, Katie, that you're after, or Lisa. Picture yourself as a more confident person pitching to people and them saying yes. So I want you to visualize where you are. Are you on a video call? Are you in a coffee shop? Are you in a boardroom? Are you at their office? Are you at your office? Where are you? I want you to think about how you're feeling in that moment. Are you feeling calm, clear, confident, prepared, in control? Start thinking about those things. What questions are you asking them which makes them know that you're the expert that they want to work with? You know, what are the challenging questions, Kat, that you're asking them about their cash flow that's making them go, oh, she really, really knows what she's doing? Is the prospect doing? Are they nodding? Are they smiling? Are they saying yes to you? And then I want you to visualize that conversation coming to an end. And I want you to think about how it feels when they say yes to you. And I want you to get some of that energy and enthusiasm. And I want you to wrap that up as a visualization that you're going to start to do daily for the next 8 weeks, because we need to build the habit of doing this. Because when your brain has already experienced success, your body follows. Now, I can just tell you that I do this and I feel like I'm better as a result of visualizing the outcome that I'm going to have with prospects. Of course, it doesn't work 100% of the time. It doesn't have to. If it works even 5% more of the time than it used to work before I did this, then I think we'd all agree that it's probably worth doing, even if it makes us feel a little bit stupid in the moment. You might decide it's not for you, but for me, it works. For Oprah Winfrey, it works. For Jim Carrey, it works. Owen Farrell, it works. So there we go. We're going to move on. Confidence. I reckon this is probably the biggest determining factor of success and failure when it comes to sales. None of us are born with confidence. It's something that we build over time. If sales doesn't come naturally, you need to train yourself to show up stronger. And sometimes, unfortunately, gang, you really do need to fake it until you make it. So, alongside visualization and affirmation, which are proven ways to help you grow your confidence, I've got some other stuff, some other hacks, if you like, that you might like to try. So, first up, there's no surprises really. Listening to a guided hypnosis, like I Can Make You Confident daily, is really like a mental workout. I listen to it almost daily and often just before I make a sales call. And somehow, I don't really understand why, but it rewires my brain to make me feel calmer and more control and puff out my chest and get ready to handle the conversation. And I 100% of the time feel a little bit more confident after I've listened to that 5 minute audio. And if I listen to it on playback for half an hour on the way somewhere, I turn up and I feel incredible. So I would encourage you to make that part of a daily ritual, especially if you've got an important call to think about. The next one, you're going to love this one. Power posing. Ever seen someone stand like Superman before a big moment? Well, Amy Cuddy's research shows that standing tall for 2 minutes before a sales call will lower your stress hormones and increase your confidence. So we're going to have a little practice. I'd like you all to stand up for me, please. I would like you to stand as tall as you possibly can and then press your chest out. Keep your head up really straight and put your hands on your hips. And I want you to smile like you really, really mean it. Like you've just seen one of your great friends from across the room that you haven't seen in a year. Smile and stand in that power pose. And you can just stay smiling and standing in that power pose until I've finished talking about some of the other things. And we'll see whether it works. It might work for some of you, it might not work for others. But hey, we're going to throw everything we can at this. Next up, inspired by my amazing friend Rebecca Reed, is the rejection challenge. If anyone follows Rebecca on YouTube, and I would 100% recommend you follow Rebecca on YouTube. She's brilliant, but she inspired me to put this one in. Confidence isn't about never hearing a no, it's about how you handle that no. And if you actively seek out rejection, let's say 5 or 10 rejections a week, you start realizing that they don't mean anything about you. They just mean that you're taking action. And what action will do is lead to success. So Rebecca has got these rejection challenges where she just goes up to strangers in the street in the car park and asks her to go and buy her a Cadbury's cream egg and stuff. And it's absolutely brilliant. And she did that early on in her journey to get used to being uncomfortable. So there's a rejection challenge that I would encourage you to try and do. Try and start the week going, I'm going to get 5 or 10 no's this week, and I promise you, you'll get a yes. Another way to make yourself more confident is to practice. If you want to sound more confident, record yourself talking about your product or service, or pitch it to a member of your mastermind group, and then listen back. Listen to your tone, to your pace, and then practice out loud. The more you hear yourself speaking with confidence, the more natural it will become. Something that's been really helpful in building my confidence has been the habit of tracking wins. Some of you will have seen that I've got really into this of late, and every day before I go to sleep, I recite my 3 biggest wins of the day, and then when I wake up in the morning, I think about those wins that I had yesterday, and I think about the 3 wins that I've got today, and I feel like a winner. Sarah May, you can sit down. Katie, you can sit down. Everyone else, you can sit down. Everyone else has given up the ghost or turned their cameras off, the darlings. So it's been really, really helpful to me, and it might be another thing for you to try. Now, my last tip is to use a bit of a confidence anchor. Any of you done any NLP before? Yeah, Katie's done it. All right, Lisa's done it. Okay, don't judge me, all right, because I am a mere novice at NLP. However, I know that it can work. So I want you all to think about a time when you felt really powerful. Remember that time where you just won your biggest client, for example, or you had a really great win or something amazing happened. You had some brilliant client feedback. Whatever it was, it made you feel amazing in that moment. It might be that you got a client recently to give you an extra 1,200 quid a month or something like that, and you go, yes, I'm winning. Whatever it is, I want you to think about it. Now, I want you to close your eyes again. I told you it was a bit woo-woo today. It won't be woo-woo the rest of the program, I promise you. I want you to close your eyes and think about how it felt, how confident you were in that moment and in those moments leading up to that win. I want you to think about how easy the conversation was about the things that you said and the things that they said, and how your body felt in that moment. You know, maybe you got goosebumps. If you're like me, you get goosebumps, or sometimes you get shivers, or a mad rush of warm blood flowing really fast around your system. You know, when we win and we really win, it's a visceral feeling, right? We feel it all over our bodies, and the hairs stand up on our neck. I want you to think about that feeling. Maybe your heart rate increased. Just think about it and lock it in. And now I want you to press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Like that. Press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You can do it. You don't have to open your mouth. You can just do it privately. Still thinking about that feeling, thinking about how you felt, the blood flowing around your body, the hairs standing up on your neck. And press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And what we're trying to do here is to associate that feeling of winning with this feeling of pressing your tongue very subtly to the roof of your mouth. And if you really, really think about the win and how it felt and the energy that flowed around your body at the same time that you do that, what I'm hoping that will happen, and there are experts potentially at NLP in this room, but what I'm hoping that can happen is you can start to bring back that feeling at will by pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Regardless of whether it works or not, what I want you to try is this. The next time you need to feel a little bit more confident, the next time that you're going into a sales conversation, what I want you to do is pause for a few minutes beforehand, and I want you to bring up that feeling that you had whenever you had that really amazing win. Press the tongue to the roof of the mouth and just think about it. And hopefully you'll start to feel a difference in your body. You'll start to feel more confident, more energized. I'm doing it to myself and I'm feeling more confident, more energized. So it works. And then when you go into that next sales call, what I want you to do is when they say, how are you? How are you doing? I want you to respond by going, I'm amazing. I've just been reflecting on an awesome win. They don't have to know that it was 3 years in the past. You don't have to go into when it was. You just have to turn up as a winner, feeling like a winner, feeling like you're making positive momentum, positive energy, because that, my friends, is magnetic. When you turn up with that feeling, I promise you, people will want a little bit of it. And I promise you, you will be more confident. And I promise you, will increase your chances of doing business with that person. It works. So there we go. That's confidence. Hopefully, there's one or two things in that list of things that can work for you. And then finally, tool number 4, discipline and consistency. Is not really tools. It's just my way of getting you to do the stuff that I think it's going to really help you. Confidence doesn't come from a single hyped up moment. It comes from repeated action over and over and over again. And really, the truth is, lack of discipline and consistency won't just hold you back from making sales, it destroys our self-esteem. I think that's, just speaking really candidly about my journey for a second. I get really disciplined and really consistent. I fall off the wagon and my self-esteem goes through the floor. And then I get back and I get disciplined and consistent and my self-esteem goes to here. And then I fall off the wagon. And I genuinely believe that there is a significant link between making yourself do stuff that might feel uncomfortable, that might be a little bit hard, and the way that you feel about yourself. Because every time you tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, and then you don't, what I think you're doing is you're breaking a promise to yourself. And the more promises that you break, the less that you actually trust yourself in the moment. And I think that's how doubt creeps in. That's where the imposter syndrome inside all of us gets a little bit louder and a little bit louder and a little bit louder. But the flip side of that is being disciplined with yourself, practicing these confidence building habits. When you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you build trust in yourself. You create proof that you can follow through on the stuff that you say you're going to follow through on. And I genuinely believe that's where real, unshakable confidence comes from. Now, you can look at any of the people that I've talked about or referenced today, you know, the best performers, the athletes, the CEOs, the actors, the salespeople. I don't believe that they are the best at what they do because they were ever the most talented. I believe that they're the best at what they do because they were the most consistent. They turned up and they did it and they did it and they did it and they did it. And at some point, they got really, really good. So here's the challenge for you all today. If we're talking about setting yourself up for sales success in 2025, reframe your mindset blocks into more positive language for yourself. Listen to Paul McKenna's hypnosis trickery every single day for the next 8 weeks. Stand in a power pose before a big call or even on a call. It makes you more confident. Do 3 to 10 affirmations, 10 times each day. Visualize what success looks like, what it feels like, and what it sounds like to you. And then reframe rejection and make it fun so that it doesn't scare you anymore. Not just once, not just twice, not just when you feel like it, every single day. Because I'm absolutely confident if you do these things with discipline and consistency, you won't just become better at sales, your whole life will start to change. And there we go. So you've got some tools. We've got a link in the chat, which is going to give you a little workbook to work through. There's a worksheet for this week, which you can use over the next 8 weeks to make sure that you're actually practicing this stuff. Sarah's going to put the link in the chat. And it is my hope that you've really enjoyed this afternoon's session. Next week, we're going to come back and we're going to be talking about all of this stuff. So spend the time this week filling in the worksheet, doing this stuff. And next week, it's going to be all about conversations where we can, you know, dive a little bit deeper. Ladies and gents, if you got value from today, please do me a massive favor to help us grow. If you're finding the content useful today or at any point subsequently over the next 8 weeks, please do us a little shout out on social media about Mastermind9 or consider talking to a couple of friends about potentially joining us. For anyone that you recommend as a thank you, you'll get a month free if you are a Mastermind9 member, and a lot of love from myself and Sarah. We've come to the end with 5 minutes to go. If you've got any questions, I would be delighted to answer them. Thank you very much.